Okay, I hope this all works out right. I haven't done any like recording in this for a while, but I was just watching a little bit of the gameplay here. I think I kind of understand a little bit. I don't think I've gone through one of your POVs before, but I think I understand like a bit about what's going on, and probably the thing that's holding you back the most right now. Because clearly, I mean, we've talked, you know a lot about the game, and I don't think your mechanics are t like bad enough to be holding you back. Right now, something that I'm seeing a lot is awareness, kind of like being aware of the map, being aware of other players like around you, and also um, kind of going into a game. I think your play style needs to change a little bit, where it's like I feel like in this when you're playing Kiriko here, I feel like you're going into it with the goal of just healing people, and you're kind of making really limited use of the character. So we're gonna go through and go look at some of the examples of what I've been seeing.
Three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Soothing your wounds. We need to take out
So this opening part actually here isn't that bad. Definitely in a situation like this where it's like, okay, your team just got run over by a Zarya and an Echo, like you walk forward in really aggressively, and you can just go back to the spawn. But that's not that big of a deal. You know, you're getting spawn held. Happens. Keep going a little bit. Nice shots. Good focus. Something I see you doing a lot is you heal a lot of full health targets. Definitely when your team is full, like when your team here is full, you need to be shooting. Um, and whenever you can, especially on Kiriko, so your kunai do about 40-ish damage to the body. So unless you're hitting headshots, shooting at the tank really isn't that important, or it's less valuable. Even if you don't hit the Ana or the Kiriko, if you can like at least make them scared, um, that's usually more valuable than even like hitting the tank. So um, try not to just default shoot tanks. So here is the first example of what I really would consider tunnel vision. This is something I saw a lot in the first half that I watched. Is you decide to start shooting, but you notice there's two tanks right now walking at your bastion. And yeah, your Bastion has form, but he only has like 200 health here. He doesn't have any armor. Um, he's gonna need help. You have TP, you have Suzu. You probably shouldn't TP to him, but you can at least Suzu him. Give him like a second, because if you give him a second to fire, like free fire, maybe he can kill one of them. Um, or you should at least be healing him. But you completely just, I mean, you just watch him die. And how much damage did you do? You did 80 damage to a Ramatra. And like, yeah, it's a Ramatra copy, so it's gonna be easier to like get him down. But would you really want that 80 damage when you have a Bastion with form that you can help? Like Bastion with form does a lot more than 80 damage, but because you don't keep him alive, he doesn't do anything and he just dies for free. That's not a bad Suzu. You know, your tank is looking like he's in a bad spot, so you use it. I'd rather you use it than watch him die, like you watch the Bastion die. Another good Suzu. You're just hard pocketing your Ram. And sometimes you can't do anything about that. Sometimes, I mean, that's how it is in ranked. Even in high ranked. Sometimes your tank is just feeding and he won't stop feeding. And you just have to pocket him. Um, Sometimes when that happens, you just have to say, okay, is Kiriko the best character to just hard pocket my tank? And the answer is no. It's easy to pocket your tank on Kiriko because the heals auto lock, but it's not the correct character for that. So if you're gonna be full healing your tank, you know, switch to Baptiste, switch to Ana, something like that. Something that's easier to full heal. You just want to stay alive, keep your team alive, make sure no one staggers. Yeah, see that right there was really good damage rotation of like, okay, my bastion is fine. So I'm healing my bastion. He gets hit with stickies. She's beaming. Okay, my bastion isn't in any immediate danger. I can start shooting. You start shooting. But then you notice how the Zarya walks into range and is beaming your bastion. Your bastion is now in immediate danger. Now your bastion has 32 health. Now you need to stop shooting and help him. Unless you know you can kill the Zarya. Can you kill the Zarya? No. Can you kill the Echo? Probably not. So help your bastion. Because your bastion could kill the Zarya here. Thankfully, your Moira's paying attention. But your bastion still dies. Because you didn't help him. Okay, we keep going, keep going. You guys Cole, that's fine. The rush doesn't really, I mean, you can see it better if you come up here. Like, you're about to cap, you rush. Like, their Zarya doesn't walk away because of rush. Their Zarya walks away because you have a Bastion with form and a shield. So the rush really kind of is wasted here a little bit. Um, but I mean, I like the idea of the ult, but this situation it didn't work out the way you wanted it to, I think. And that's fine. That happens. Happens all the time. So this is honestly one of those situations where I'm Kiriko. So what is good about Kiriko? Because right now your playstyle has been like just heal. You're just healing. You're doing some damage or you're healing. The really strong part about Kiriko, and the thing that you'll see like really good Kiriko players do, if you ever watch Overwatch League, the Kiriko players are always doing these crazy off angles. If you watch any of my Kiriko games, I don't do it as much because my mechanics aren't amazing. So I do end up healing a little bit more, but I'll still take off angles. Like if you're standing here and you're shooting their Kiriko or you're shooting their Ana, or even if you come up here and take their high ground and just start shooting them from behind, your character's really good at this because your character Kiriko is super scary. If you can two-shot either one of these two, you're unlikely to two-shot them. Even if you're really good, you're not going to be two-shotting everyone, so it's not very likely. But it's the threat. The threat of being able to do that is going to make this Ana and Kiriko, who are already playing in bad positions, to be super scared. Um, and then when they're playing scared, they're trying to live. It makes it harder for them to help their Zarya, who's already in a bad spot. And the really important thing about this is you can come over here and let's say this Kiriko turns around and instantly headshots you. Oh shoot, I might die here. The Kiriko might turn on me and just kill me. I can TP back to my team. So you have the tools to take super aggressive off angles, but instead you're kind of just sitting here. And this is a really big thing. This is a really big thing. I know you're in Awkward's Academy, and this is something Awkward is really big on, is like being really aggressive. So why it is being aggressive good to get out of low ranks? Because what you're doing now is you're saying, I'm just gonna pump heals into my tank, and I'm gonna put my hands together, and I'm gonna pray that Julian 1023 is gonna carry my game, and he's gonna do his job. I'm gonna pray my Bastion can do his job. I'm gonna pray my Ashe can hit her shots, all that stuff. But that's not how you climb ranked. How you climb ranked is by really it is you have to make game winning plays yourself, and sometimes that can mean saving people. Sometimes a game winning play can be hitting a big Suzu or healing the right person at the right time, but spending your mid fights and pre fights and every part of the game just kind of healing your tank is not how you win on Kiriko. If you want to do that, play Moira, play Lifeweaver. Actually, Lifeweaver, the reason Lifeweaver is good and people like are annoyed with him is because he just outputs a ton of healing. He outputs so much healing and he can save people fairly easily. And he like his heals make it easier for him to play back, so he can just stay alive and he can just pump out so much healing. Like you can actually have like 20k heals per 10 if you're like just healing on Life Weaver, and that's why it's so strong. So if you want to do that, play Life Weaver. Like I know, I don't know if you're big on Life Weaver or not. Like if you like, I don't like Life Weaver because he's a heal bot. But right now you're just a worse Life Weaver. Like you're not doing anything. That's the big thing with it is a lot of this game you spent like healing. Yeah, you're doing something. You're healing. And the healing is auto lock. It's easy. I get it. That's why you said it's easier to heal with Kiriko. But that's not what Kiriko is good at. You're basically taking like kind of the worst aspects of her kit and playing around that when what you really want to be doing, especially to play if you're playing ranked, you want to be aggressive. You want to hold like a weird angle or you want to be here. You want to be trying to kill something because if you start every fight by killing their Ana, it's 10 times more effective than starting every fight by healing your full health Bastion or your full health Ramantra. Um, and it's something you have to practice too. And yeah, even if you're not confident in your mechanics, sometimes you got to do it. And sometimes it's gonna look like you're throwing. Sometimes you will be throwing, but you have to learn. You have to make mistakes to learn. And if you play ranked, too scared to make mistakes, so you just sit there full healing and standing behind your tank, you won't improve. So you have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be willing to put yourself in a spot to be flamed. You're gonna be flamed. If you want to get good at the game, you have to experiment and figure out what works for you, and you have to make mistakes. And you'll get flamed for it. And you'll feel stupid. But that's how you get better. For every Grandmaster player, you have a gold player that was jumping off the map doing weird stuff. So like, you know, be more comfortable with it. So something to note here, something really important, especially if you're playing with a Moira. Um, this Moira is not playing super aggressively, so she's kind of heal botting a little bit. That leaves you free a little bit more to come and like take this area of the map. Like that's something Kiriko is really good at, you know, because she can TP away. You could come over here and like at least fight this Torb for this part of the map. Instead of letting him just sit here for free, like this is they have so many off angles on you. You got the Ana here, the Zarya here. You have Kiriko and Echo here. They're shooting at Cart. This Torb could be shooting at Cart. So you have a lot of threats from a lot of different areas. And even though it's not like the best thing in the world, you can at least reduce one of the angles. You can at least make it so instead of having, hold on. So instead of them having like this angle onto Cart, this angle onto Cart, this angle onto Cart, this angle onto Cart, this angle onto your Ram, at the very least you can cut out this angle. Because right now, what your entire team is doing, uh, you all are sitting right here. So we are all standing in the same spot, and we have to look at 4 different angles, and they're all looking at one spot because we're in 2 spots. We're right here and we're right here. So it's super, super, super easy for them to just like take advantage of that and just like shoot at you guys. And something you could do is you can alleviate that pressure by taking control of parts of the map. So something about this fight here, I think you'll notice. I feel like you were really panicking here, which I understand because they kind of just jumped on you from every angle. And that's fine. And you kind of at first you try to heal your Bastion to save him. That's kind of like a good idea. And then you kind of decide to try and kill the Torb, and then you kind of try and heal, and then you end up healing the Echo. So like you really need to like in these situations you need to like buckle down on one thing. Kiriko is not the character that like it's hard to weave damage shots successfully in between heal shots. It takes a lot of practice to do it. It's much harder than with BAP because you have 2 projectiles. Um, a lot of times you kind of need to just choose. Am I going to just try and hardcore save my Bastion, or am I going to kill the Torb? And do one or the other. But as is, I mean, Their DPS made a good play. Your entire team stacked on one angle. Um, it was always going to be really hard to win that fight. Um, and even though you could have done a little bit more, you know, it's not like that fight was like, entirely your
Back
fault.
to it.
Um,
Payload stuck. Get it moving.
okay, and this is where really like some of the attention problems are coming in. Okay, so you walk out. Oh, there's an echo. There's an echo. There's an echo. Oh, there was a Kiriko behind you, and you didn't pay attention. And like, I know you could say it's like, well, it was behind me. I didn't really know, but like, you walked right here in the open. Like, look what your Ash is doing. Your Ash is doing what you should have done, is like staying behind cover and pay attention to the echo, try and force her out. But you just walked right into the line of fire. You know, so it's easy to say, well, I just didn't know. Well, if you didn't know, then, you know, why would you walk out right into the open? Um, because I mean, if we look at this from the other Kiriko's POV, it's like you'll kind of see where it's like, yeah, nice shots, but you also just walked in a straight line in front of her, even if you didn't know she was there. Like, these are things you have to learn. You have to make assumptions. But it really looks like it feels like sometimes when you're walking around the map, you assume there's only one enemy at a time when there's 5 players on the other team, and sometimes they're in different parts of the map. You know, so you got to pay attention to all that. And I really think, much more than your mechanics, this game sense, this awareness, is really what's holding you back. Because your mechanics are not bad. Your knowledge of the game is clearly at a much higher level than what you play at. And the reason is largely because of this awareness. Because you're really one-track minded. When you're in the game, you know a lot about the game, but you can't apply any of that knowledge because sometimes you don't even know what's going on in the game. I feel like sometimes also you know what you should be doing, but you don't go into it planning to do what you know you should do. So sometimes you just end up like heal botting on Kiriko. Even though I'm pretty sure if I went over this game with you live and asked you what should you be doing here, I'm pretty sure you would give me the right answers. I'm pretty sure you would have better answers than what you're doing here. But this is the thing, is like once you hop in game, all that game knowledge becomes nothing because you can't apply it. And the first step to doing that is awareness. I'm pretty sure this is the fight. Or okay, no, it's not. It may not be this fight. Um, let me see. Okay, this fight was just. I mean, that was a little bit of an ambitious TP. Also, you die with your Suzu. Maybe you could have Suzu. Maybe you could have killed the Tor. But like, hey, unlucky. Happens. Okay, it happens. You die first. It's really hard for your team to win that situation. It happens. Happens. Okay, so you just killed the turret, and you just watched the Torb walk off the side. He's now behind you. You know he's behind you. You just saw him. He was on your screen. You killed his turret. Now what do you do? Like, you are not looking for this Torb at all. Like, Torb is... He's just chilling behind you. Like, he's waiting for you guys to walk by. And you know he's there. You destroyed his turret. You watched him walk off your screen. And you're completely ignoring it. You're completely ignoring him. And I understand it. Your team's walking in. No one on your team is paying attention either. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't pay attention. You know? And this is a really big part. This is a really big thing. Okay? You're doing good. Yeah, keep your Bastion alive. You're keeping your Bastion alive. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, you just got shot by something. Not even gonna turn around and pay attention to it. Oh, there's a Kiriko behind. Oh, there's a Torb. What was the Torb doing there the whole time? Well, let's go see what the Torb was doing the whole time. Their Torb and their Kiri are behind, and they're just free shooting at your team. But you see a big thing here is like, yeah, okay, the Torb's on a big flank, but no one on the team's paying attention. Like, yeah, people on your team should be paying more attention to this. Like your Ashe should be turning around and shooting this guy. Your Bastion should shoot this guy. This guy's a free kill. And so, like, yeah, it's really easy to blame your teammates here. But also, you have no clue he's there. Like this is a really, really big thing. Like, all that game knowledge you have goes completely out the window if you don't even pay attention to the guy that's behind with a Kiriko. And instead, you're kind of just like, you kind of dev M1, I'm healing my Bastion. Like, okay, I'm healing my Bastion. There's a Torb behind me, don't care, don't even know. Heal my Rhine. Oh, they're full health, I'm still healing. It's like something has to be like right in front of your face for you to even recognize that it's happening. And that is a very, 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 very big problem. Because that means any flank is always going to catch you off guard. Anytime someone's in your backline, it's going to catch you off guard. And when you're a support, you're going to get flanked. People are going to be in your backline. Like, that's a very common thing. So like this, you're kind of like in this one-track mind when you play the game. You're paying attention to what is right in front of you when you need to be like thinking about what's happening everywhere. And that's hard to do. You have to practice this. You have to go into a game and say, I'm going to try and practice awareness. And like when you get caught off guard, you need to go back in your VOD and watch, and why was I caught off guard? Could I have known this was going to happen, or was this just a really good play? Because a lot of times people are walking right in front of you and then going behind you, and then it's like, oh, that caught me off guard. I didn't even know he was there, when it was like, it was literally on your screen. You just weren't paying attention. And it sounds like I'm really like griping on this, but like the higher you go, the more aware you have to be of the map. And this also really impacts the speed that you play at. What you'll notice is a lot of high level play. If you play in a high level lobby, you'll be like, wow, it felt like it was playing like 2 or 3 times faster than it was. If I threw you in a GM scrim right now, it would feel like it was like they were playing a different game. You would just be dead instantly. Like the fight would start and you'd be dead instantly. You wouldn't even have time to think about your positioning. You wouldn't even have time to think about anything because they're playing the game really fast, and they can do that because they're aware. They're making predictions. They're trying to make proactive plays. Right now you're playing really reactively to what's happening in front of you instead of trying to make something happen or trying to stop what other people are doing. And a lot of that has to do with just like you're just really like tunnel vision on what's in front of you and not paying attention to anything else. I mean, even this play here, right here. Okay, I'm healing my Rhine. I'm healing my Rhine. I'm healing my Rhine. Like, is your Rhine in any danger here? Like, yeah, okay. He's crit. There's people behind. He could probably use like one volley of heal. Like, yeah, he needs a little bit of heals. But he has 225 health. Now let's look at the situation your Bastion's in. He has 5 stickies on him, and he has a Zarya on him. Who needs your help? Who are you paying attention to? So you see where the problem is, and why is that? Because there's a Zarya. There's a Zarya right here. Like, right in front of you. Right on top of you. And this Zarya, if this Zarya was any bit smarter, you would be dead already. Like, this Zarya is bad. That's why you're not dead. But you should be dead. And your teammates are probably going to die from this because you're not paying attention. Because you're only focused on one thing happening. This is the only thing happening to you. The rest of the game is being played. Like, the rest of the players are playing the game, and you're playing this interaction here. And maybe it's because your headset isn't very loud. Maybe you can't hear the Zarya. And you know, if that's true, if you have a problem with hearing, you need to be more like, your head needs to be on a swivel. You need to be looking around. You need to be like paying attention, looking for people. Like, this Torb is still behind you. This Torb should have killed you. Like, you're only alive because Torb either can't aim or wasn't paying attention to you. Nice damage, nice damage. I would still like it if you went off over in like maybe this off angle or this off angle. Just something aggressive instead of like sitting behind your team.
Get in there, Bob.
Even here, yeah, you can go in with your Ryan. Because like you could have walked in with your Ryan and then TP'd out even. There's an echo. There's an echo behind you. Turn around, shoot the echo. Like when an echo's doing this, like probably one of the worst things you can do as a response to an echo flanking you is to not pay attention, to not look at her. Like look how much time you give this echo to just shoot you. Okay, then she switches to the Bastion and gets destroyed. But you see, like Echo is pretty squishy. Like you can kill Echo, but like if your Bastion wasn't there, and I doubt you even knew your Bastion was there, like you're gonna get killed. And especially if you play against Echoes, like I've been two shot by Echoes with primary fire. Like they can kill you really fast if they're really good. And that's the thing is like I know last I checked, you were still like stuck in bronze, and like some of these times where it's like, okay, if you were playing at higher rank, some of these flanks would kill you even faster. Like this is the big thing. This is like your primary struggle, is you're not paying attention to what's happening around you, and you're really only just paying attention to what's happening in front of you. Even when things are shooting you, you won't even turn and look at them. Like at least fire one shot at her. Like maybe you won't kill her, probably won't hit a headshot, but at least try. You know? Okay. So a lot of what I'm seeing is like you're not getting a lot of value out of cooldowns. Like you're not really using TP that often. Your Suzu, you're kind of using it. You're using it okay. You're using it to save people most of the time. I think you use it a little bit more frequently. You don't use it that often. You kind of wait for like, oh, they're going to die, like a really bad situation. You could probably use it a little bit more greedy too, a little bit more for yourself. Um, and a really big thing is like the way that you play Kiriko. You might as well play Lifeweaver, like because you're just healing for the most part. You're standing behind your tank and healing, and there are characters that are really good at that. Um, Lifeweaver is pretty good at that. Baptiste is actually pretty good at that because he can stand behind his tank for the most part and still like be doing shield damage, be doing tank damage, and it's still kind of useful. He builds window fast, and Moore's really good for that. Um, Even Ana, you're standing further back, but if you just want to heal out your tank, like you can play Ana or you can play Moira. But Kiriko really is not good at that. Like that is just not what Kiriko's good at. Kiriko's good at pocketing a DPS and taking off angles and being aggressive. Like you're playing the worst aspects of Kiriko is the big thing. Um, and even if you're heal botting on Kiriko, one of the best things about Kiriko if you're heal botting is she can stay alive. You're not even doing that. Like you're kind of playing aggressively into some of these situations where you're kind of guaranteeing your death. Um, and that's just something you have to learn is like how do I survive as support? And a big part of that is awareness. Um, Pay attention to your team, what your team's doing, what the enemy team's doing, if someone's behind you, stuff like that. Okay, so this is some pretty standard stuff. Actually, I mean, if you're gonna play more passively, this is actually a really good position to be doing it from.
Feels like sunlight, huh?
Okay, like
Feels like
look at
sunlight,
the look at the situation like this. Who are you healing? You're mostly healing. You're shooting some kunais down the range, but you're not hitting much. But that's fine. Like when you're spamming kunai, you're not gonna be hitting headshots every time. Like no one does that. That's unrealistic. So you're mostly healing your Sigma. You're mostly healing your Sigma and your Bastion, but they're both in line of sight of your Moira. And your Moira is not being super aggressive. Your Moira is doing a lot of healing. Your Sigma also has kinetic grasp, so his shift, his eat, he can survive a lot of things. He probably still has his shield. Like Sigma can survive. You can leave Sigma to his own devices for a little bit, unless he's getting like 5 ults thrown at him. He's usually gonna survive. Your Ashe is by herself, which is, that's not the smartest play. But I mean, like at least he's taking an angle. It's not. It's like an angle. Maybe he could be up here. That would probably be better because he could just fall back in a way. But you completely ignore him. Like you're literally just looking down this way. Like imagine during this fight, you're playing over here and you help shoot this torb, or you even just Suzu this Ashe so he stays alive a little bit longer. At least then you could put some pressure here. Because as is, what's going to happen is the torb is just going to come here, and then he's just going to be able to spam out your team. Like especially your Bastion, unless your Sigma just automatically kills him. Um, which as is, he just runs down your Ashe, and then he feeds and dies. But if he had just stayed here and just spammed, that would have been a really big problem for your Bastion. It would have forced your Sigma to turn around and deal with it. Um, and his team had already backed up, so it was kind of a bad play from him. But killing the Ashe is something that he should not have been allowed to do for free. At least you should have made him work for it.
Draw strength from nature.
Okay, I mean there's not much to do here. Like you can do something aggressive, but you're just chilling. Don't feed. That's not a bad plan either. Especially like pre-fight, you really don't want to be the first death in a fight. Yeah, no. Stay there, stay there. No, like this is actually the right idea. Because when you're here and you're shooting, what you're doing is you're taking attention. Like part of the people on their team, like eventually either like their Moira right now is looking at you. Like they have to look at you at some point because you are a threat. Like you're not gonna do it every time, but you can two-shot someone. If you hit 2 headshots, they're dead. Like you can do it. And they have to respect that. If they don't, eventually one time you're gonna just kill someone. Like that can happen. It's dangerous. Like this spot is really good because as your team is leaving, like your team is backing up here and you stay behind, like what happens if they turn at you? If they all turn at you and they start shooting you and you're like, "Oh shoot, I'm going to die. I stayed too long." TP. Bam, you're out. Or even Suzu, I shoot one more time and then bam, I'm out. Like you have tools to get out so you can play aggressively like this. Like if you were Ana or Bap here, this would be feeding like so hard. But because you're Kiriko, this is what your character's good at. Like even take the angle more aggressively. Like over here you're shooting shield. Over here you're shooting heads. Like this is super strong. So don't be afraid to be aggressive. And like yeah, sometimes literally the Sigma's gonna turn around, rock you, you're gonna get headshot, like you're just gonna insta die. It happens. It happens. And you'll feel stupid when that happens, because you'll be like, I totally just fed. But like this is your chance to carry. Like if you want to climb ranked, you cannot rely on your teammates to carry you. Julian is not going to carry you to a higher rank, to the rank you want. When you're playing support, support is a hard carry role. Support is one of the most busted roles in the game, so take advantage of it. Because when you do this and you heal your tank, you are not a carry. Like you can't hard carry. Like that's just not a thing. You are not going to carry with heals. I don't care what someone tells you. It's important to still heal. It is still important to like heal your tank, keep your tank up, try and make sure your teammates don't die. But if all you do is just heal and keep your teammates alive, you're asking them to carry you. And then you don't have any right to be upset about being in a rank. Because all you're doing is asking your teammates to do it. You've got to find ways to make plays like this. Like if you stay here and you get a kill, that's a carry. If you're over here and your Sigma hits a good rock and gets a kill, you didn't carry. You barely even helped. Like this is a really important thing. That's why on Ana, you want to play aggressively, look for kills. That's why when you see unranked GMs, when I go into a low ranked game, I don't sit there and say, I'm gonna heal my tank. I'm gonna give my tank the best heals. I'm gonna have like triple the healing of the other support, and we're gonna win because of that. And you will still lose games doing that. When I play in a when I go into like a low ranked game and I'm smurfing or I'm on an alt account or something, or even if I'm just playing quick play and I know it's like a lower ranked game, the first thing I will do is I will instantly go like leave my team and just go and look for kills. I will look for big nades. I will look to kill people on BAP. I will use window for myself. Like you have to play aggressively because that's how you carry games. And no matter what position you are, you have to find a way to carry to like rank up. Um, and that's like the really frustrating thing of ranked because like if you play when you play with your team, you shouldn't do that. When you're playing with your team and you guys are in 5 man, you're playing scrim, you're playing like competitive. Like I know you guys got a game later tonight. Like you don't want to do that. That's when it's a bad idea. Um, because like your role, like a big part of your role is to support them. You have to heal them because you're making coordinated plays. So you don't have as much time to do these like aggressive things. But in ranked, it's really different. Like ranked really is a like, can you kill who kills people faster, no matter what role you're on. Like you're looking to kill people. Um, so like like don't be afraid to do stuff like this. Like try it at least. Like you leave this super early, but it was like a really good idea. If Bastion dies, that's more on your Bastion. That's not really your fault. I like this rush. I like this rush a lot. So again, here you're shooting tank. Like, how much damage do you think you've actually done to this tank? You've probably only done like maybe 1 or 200, which is it's not that it's useless, but like imagine 1 or 200 damage on this guy or this guy. Like that's gonna force them to leave, and maybe then your Ash, maybe they'll look at you and your Ash will kill them. Or that right now they're looking at your Ash. Maybe you could just literally stand still and just shoot at them. Um, but shooting the Sigma here is like, it's not a waste of your time, but it's probably the least valuable thing you could be doing. And that's the thing. That's a big thing with like Kiriko and a lot of supports is like a lot of things you do will be valuable in some way because that's why support is broken. Support can do anything and get some form of value out of it. But the way you get better at support is learning how to maximize your time. Like you're one of the most valuable characters on the team. How do you maximize the value? That's also why it's really important not to look at numbers. Like, if you pay attention to the scoreboard as a support player, and you're like, I had this much more healing, or I had this much more damage, it's fun to look at those, but realistically, those don't matter. Because it's the value you get from your supports is much more abstract. It's not like hard, just like, oh, I have this many numbers, so I did better. It's much more about like, what angles were you controlling? What DPS did you pressure? What ults did you force? How did you use your ult? Were you holding map control? Like all these different things. So don't get stuck looking at the scoreboard and saying, ah, I carried my team, or like, oh, my team, like it's a trap. Like the scoreboard is just a blank trap. Um, don't get tricked by it. Okay, we're still shooting tank, and it's like it's not the worst thing in the world. Like especially when he's in flux, that's like not a bad idea. But it would just be so much more valuable to shoot something else. Like really anything else. Or even helping your Ashe. Like your Ashe is still taking this super aggressive angle. Which is like, yeah, I'll be the first to say your Ashe maybe shouldn't be here. Like your Ashe should probably be like up here. But you can't control your teammates. You can just do what you can with what your teammates are giving you. And if you're on this angle with your Ashe, you're super scary. Like the Ashe is scary here. Like the Ashe is getting big damage. But she can't stay there. And the reason she can't stay there is because both you and your Moira are doing the same thing. You're just pumping your Sigma with heals. Like does your Sigma need healing? Like your Sigma is sitting here, like, yeah, he doesn't have cooldowns, but he has 440 health. Like, is there any point of this where you're like, yeah, my Sigma was in danger? Like, your Sigma isn't in danger at any of these points. Like, none of these. And, like, your Sigma's doing pretty good. Like, your Sigma's, like, hardcore carrying. But, like, this is the thing I really want you to notice is your Sigma's carrying. You aren't. Like this is like a really big thing you have to recognize about your own gameplay. Like to grind ranked, and I know you wanna rank up and you wanna like improve. This is something you have to recognize. Your teammates are carrying you. Like if this is the way all of your ranked games go, you really don't impact your own ranked games very much. Like it's an uncomfortable like truth that you have to recognize because the first step to improve, you have to recognize the mistakes you're making so you can actually fix them. This is a really big mistake you're making, is you're asking your teammates to carry you. Okay, so again, someone's behind you, you don't even recognize, you let your teammate die, and then you get killed because of that. You didn't die because your reload glitched there. I saw that. Like, that sucks. But you didn't die because of your reload glitch. The reason you died is way further back. When the Echo does this. Literally just walks at your Bastion. And then just walks at you like you were not looking. You don't know? Oh, you don't know? You don't know? You don't know? Like that Echo should not be able to do that. Like the Echo should be like the Echo should be here. Runs out of copy. Look, I want you to see how many people are paying attention to this Echo. Not even the person that's being shot at the Bastion is paying attention at all. Like realistically, this is not just on you. Your Bastion should have been shooting this Echo earlier. Your Moira should have been paying attention to the Bastion. But like also, you need to as well. Oops. Like look at how clueless you are. Like look at it. And realistically, what are you paying attention to? Like what are you doing during this whole time while your Bastion is not only being killed, but you're also in danger. Okay, you're in flux. Healing my full health Sigma. Healing my full health Sigma. Okay, I try and shoot the Moira. Okay, whatever. Healing my full health Sigma. Healing my full health Sigma. Oh, now I'm in trouble. And I don't have any kunai. Like you have so much time to react to these things, but you're really only paying attention to what is directly in front of you. And that is like something that is really, really hurting. Really, really hurting.
We've got this.
Okay. So you actually lose your Sigma, so that's kind of dangerous. Moira's about to die. Good Suzu. Good Suzu. When you're running away, especially when you're panicking, try and like get behind cover. Like you could have come behind this truck and healed your Bastion, or come over here and still heal your Bastion. Like that's one of the nice things about Kirika. You don't have to aim really. You kind of just aim in the direction of your teammate, so you can kind of play these weird distances. Because this is still within lock-on distance, but as is, like you're in a dangerous spot. You're about to be feeding, and you still have TP, I believe, right? Do you? Yeah, you still have TP. Like, you can TP to your Ashe here and then just sit here and help your Bastion live. Like, then not only is your Bastion safer, because you're healing him and you don't pay attention to anything else, you're safer as well. And you really don't want to die here. Okay. Okay. That's unfortunate. Happens, though. Alright, your Doomfist is in. You gotta go in with your Doomfist. Go in with your Doomfist. You need Suzu. Okay. Nice target priority. I like what I saw there. I would have liked if you used Rush earlier. Like when you saw your Doomfist full commit in, I would have liked to see you full commit as well. Like full in, I rush, I use Suzu, I try and save him, I do everything to win. He needs Suzu. I'm gonna give you benefit of the doubt and say you were reading like chat or reading something while that was happening. But if you're walking to the fight and you see someone critical, they need help right away. Good target priority. Very good target priority.
I'm on fire.
Yep, ball's almost dead. You can kill him. Oh, there's a Kiriko. Go for the Kiriko. Nice. So you see, when the fight is less chaotic and it's like there's only like one or two things to pay attention to, you're doing the right thing. So like this is like you know how to play the game. You know the right things. It's as soon as it becomes chaotic. And Overwatch is a chaotic game. There's 10 people on the field. There's especially as a support, there's 10 people you have to pay attention to. It can be difficult. It can be rough. So like I can see here like when it's simple, when the game is simple, it's like there's two people, who do I shoot? You shoot the right person. So you know what to do. It's whenever things get more chaotic. I think what's happening is you know so much about the game that like you have too much information to draw upon that as soon as the game gets even the littlest bit like too overstimulating, everything just kind of goes out the window. Um, so yeah, so there's definitely a lot of good stuff going on here. Um, I know you know how to play the game well. I know you know a lot. I know getting coaching to do stuff. I think you're being overloaded with information. I think that's what's happening. Um, so here's the big thing I want you to do, especially with you wanting to like try and get on the varsity roster. A really really big thing, like this is number one. I'm gonna give you two big things to work on. Number one, I want you to think about this every time you play the game, or at least every time you're practicing. If you're playing ranked, or especially if you're playing and you're trying to improve, like you need to make the distinction between trying to play to improve and playing for fun. Like you can play for fun and like you can play ranked for fun or you can play ranked for like for practice or whatever, however you want to do it. But when you're practicing, you need to be actively thinking about what you're trying to improve on. And the big thing is awareness for you. Your number one problem right now is awareness. You are not aware of what's happening on the map. Your teammates are being killed and you don't know. You're being killed and you don't realize it till you're dead. Like, you need to be more aware of what's happening because you have a lot of game knowledge, but your awareness is bad enough that you're not able to use any of it. So all the stuff that you learn, all the coaching you get is basically all useless until you figure out your awareness. Like you pay more attention to it. And how do you do that? You need to actively practice it in game, and there's multiple ways to do it because awareness is something you never get down. You're never perfect at awareness. There's always something more that you're missing. You're always going to be making mistakes. That's fine. That that's fine. This is something you're going to be working on for your entire time playing Overwatch, and that's completely normal. But I really need you to start play games where you're not even trying to win. I want you to play games where you're not trying to win, you're not trying to do good, you're not trying to hit headshots, you're not trying to like save people. I literally want you to play the game and I want you to just pay attention to what's happening. I want you to like every few seconds, like maybe every once in a while, just like 360, like look around you, look what's happening. Like, oh, I see four people on the enemy team. Did someone die, or is someone behind me? Is someone flanking me? Is someone on this part of the map? Like, how do I respond to that? As long as you know they're on the side of the map, then your awareness has gone up a little bit. So this is like the absolute number one thing I want you to work on. Everything else is kind of irrelevant. Don't try and learn too many things at once. Literally spend like a week working on this, like just this one thing. Because this does not just apply to Kiriko. This is not about your Kiriko gameplay. This is about your support play and like how you play Overwatch. And this is like the number one important fundamental thing that will improve you at the game as a whole. Because you'll find once you start becoming more aware of what's going on around you, all that game knowledge you have, all of the theory crafting you've done about the game, all the videos, the coaching you've gotten, all of a sudden, all that information that you have, you're going to start being able to use it because you're going to know what's happening. You'll start to recognize situations and say, I should be flanking here, or I need to save this person here, or this person dies a lot during the start of the fight, I should go help them more. Um, and this applies to Ana, this applies to Bap, this applies to Weaver, this applies to Brig, this applies to all of the characters. Um, as long as you keep having this problem of like being super tunnel vision on what's in front of you, you're going to find that you really struggle. And it really is frustrating because I've dealt with the same thing before where I had to have this realization of like, okay, I need to work on my awareness because there's so many things that happen that I don't even pay attention to. I don't realize they're happening until it's too late. And I still do. I still have a lot of problems with this because it's like one of the hardest things to learn. But if you start learning it early, you're going to start like you're going to start improving really fast. Um, Number two, this is a little bit more specific to like um, a little bit more specific to like the flex supports like Kiriko and BAP and stuff like that. Um, it's your playstyle. So your playstyle right now is super passive. Like you play really, 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 really passively. Um, at that point, that's what Life Weaver is there for. That's what like Moira is there for sometimes. Like I know a lot of people do like DPS Moira, haha, and like technically that's the right way to play it, but Moira can also be a heal bot. She does put out a lot of healing. Like if you find yourself, you think like, oh, I'm playing really passively, like switch to one of those characters. It's like if you want to play heal bot, that's fine. It's not necessarily throwing. It can be throwing in some situations, but if that's the way you enjoy playing the game, then like learn how to play that. Learn the characters that are good at that. But if you want to improve and you really want to climb ranked and you're still playing flex supports like Kiriko and Baptiste, you cannot have a passive play style. Because eventually you will climb the ranks. Eventually you will. But it's going to take a long time. Because the game is not going to see you. The game does not see you putting out healing numbers and say, that's a good player. The team looks, the system is going to look at the person that killed 2 or 3 people a fight as a support and say, that's a good player. Or the person that was hitting like anti-nades every fight. That's a good player. The person that was flanking and getting kills and final blows and like had a bunch of damage on like Kiriko or something like that. Like that's a good player. It's not going to look at the Kiriko that like was spent 10 seconds healing a full health Sigma while their Bastion was dying to an Echo and say that's a good player. And that or like just kind of sitting with your Moira doing the exact same thing she's doing. And like this is part of the awareness. You have to be aware of what's going on to switch your playstyle to what fits the situation. But I think right now you have one playstyle and it's super passive. It's super like heal body. And I think that's something that's really like holding you back right now in ranked. Because I know you've expressed sometimes like you're kind of frustrated with the ranked experience, and I get it. Ranked is really frustrating. To climb ranked, you have to learn how to deal with the frustrations and like compensate for them. So those are the two big things. I think this extends to far more than just your Kiriko, and I know probably Kiriko isn't like your best character, so it may just be uncomfortableness, but this still will apply. I think if you go back and watch some of your VODs, you will find that some of this does apply to you, even on the characters you're most comfortable with, and that's fine. You know, it's uncomfortable to recognize your own mistakes, but it's very important. And it'll stop you also from like even if you do climb, if you all of a sudden get a big ego or something like that, that can be a big problem, especially when you're playing on a team. um so be more comfortable recognizing your mistakes. You're really smart, you know a lot about the game, you can recognize your own mistakes, but you have to go look for them. You have to like be comfortable recognizing them, and that is like that's one of the important things about becoming a better player, is you have to be better at recognizing your mistakes and like actively working to fix them. Um, but yeah, I think if you focus on these two things for right now, um, because these are two kind of broad topics, but if you focus on these, especially the awareness, I think you're going to start finding that you are playing the game a lot more informed at the very least. Like you're going to kind of know what's going on. I think that's really important. So I hope this is helpful. I know you guys have a game tonight. I'm not sure if this is going to be able to be uploaded by then, but good luck. Um, I will go back and watch the VOD, and I'm more than happy to go over or make a recording of that game VOD as well, if you'd like. But yeah, hope this was helpful.